Now, fellas, it's not enough for you to just know what your seductive style is. You need to understand which dynamics in your dress could be isolating and repelling before you ever get the opportunity to start seducing with your words. Today, we're going to be talking about 4 different characteristics in clothing that could be creating anti-seductive behavior. What's up, all you good fella fly guys? You know who it is, the cat in the hat, your resident fly guy, your chief architect, Michelangelo of StarArchitects.com, here to help you tell your personal story in style. And it's Truth Hurts Thursdays. Yo, I hope that you've been showing up this week in style, but if you haven't, if you've been having some issues identifying your image, or you're finding that your clothing isn't really reflecting your character, well, fret no more. That's exactly why I'm here, to ensure that you are showing up in style and leaving a lasting impression with your look. Now today we're going to be talking about anti-seductive characteristics. Now in the book that I've made mention of all week and that we're going to be covering, The Art of Seduction, when it comes to your personal style, there are actually other behaviors that are going to reflect anti-seductive behavior, but we're only going to cover 4 because these are the 4 that are actually most reflective of style reactions instead of just behavior. So make sure that you check out The Art of Seduction. Again, the link will be in the bio. If this is your first time here, welcome. Yo, this is a great time to be here to make sure that you are not repelling the people that you're trying to attract. You dig what I'm saying? So if you find the information beneficial, please consider subscribing. I would love to be a character in your style story. If you have already subscribed, you know that I appreciate you, and I'm so looking forward to reading all the chapters that you're about to create in your clothing. Now, all you have is one thing left to do, and that is hit that notification bell, and that way you will be notified each and every time new content comes out. So if seductive behavior is compelling, it's attractive, it's magnetizing, then of course anti-seductive behavior is going to be repelling, it's going to be isolating, and it's going to be a little egotistical. But how is that reflecting in your style? Well, the 4 characters that we're going to show and talk about today are going to show the correlation in your clothing. So the first anti-seductive character is the bumbler. Have you ever seen the guy who is just fiddling around with stuff? He's always trying to do something, but it never looks like he's moving with any intention. It's always just him bumbling around, hence the name bumbler. Well, the same thing can still show up when it comes to your personal style. If you are a guy who finds yourself always kind of adjusting your look and making sure that everything looks okay, then what you're actually expressing is that you're not confident in your look. Now, true, we all have to make adjustments throughout the day, but this shouldn't be an ongoing thing every 5 to 10 minutes, because all it does is it makes people think that you got ants, in your clothing, or your clothing isn't really right for you, and that's going to create an uncomfortable environment for others around you. And typically when I see this, that means that the style is not fitting that person. Either literally the fit is off, or it's not a reflection of their true character. And we've already talked about fit, so make sure that you check that out in this link right here. Otherwise, it could be that the fabric that you're wearing is not really good with your body, and so it's creating uncomfortable effects, which means you need to check the fabric and what you're wearing to make sure that it's comfortable. Now, the second anti-seductive character that you could be putting out is the windbag. Now, in seduction, the windbag is the person who is missing the details, the nuance, and all of the subtleties that actually make seduction a worthwhile engagement or game. They're the people who are just putting everything out on the table, and they'll claim that, like, man, I'm just being all the way real. Yeah, I feel you, family, but sometimes you need to show a little bit of tact. And the same thing goes on in style. These are the guys who are always gaudy, always have the huge logo belt on. They got the shirt that lets you know what brand they're wearing, and the shoes got to have an exclusive logo on them. And all that really speaks to is your need for attention. The guys who know who they are know that they may not shine in every situation, but they still will be appreciated in each one because they're showing up in their own personal style. And that creates a signature. That creates something that people know them for, despite what everybody else is doing. The next anti-seductive character that you may be composing in your story is the reactor. Now, the reactor in seduction is the guy who's always just reactionary, and that never allows him to set the proper position for that person to walk into the conversation that will lead them to being seduced. And the same thing goes in style when it comes to trends and things of that nature. If you're the guy who every party or engagement or different type of interaction, you have to go out and buy a new piece or a new outfit, then you probably aren't really reflecting your own personal identity. You're only reacting to the situations around you. My homeboy Devin on Deck, well, he's my homeboy in my mind, somebody that I follow on YouTube, had a great conversation about this when he talked about 5 ways that you know that your style is trash. And one of the things that he said was, if you have to go out and buy something new for each and every experience or event, then your style is probably trash, because you're not representing your own style, you're showing somebody else's. And again, if you're young, if you're under the age of 26, then I get it. You're probably still chasing trends, and that's because you're still trying to figure out who you are. But once you start to understand that direction, then it really doesn't make any sense for you to still be chasing those trends. All you're trying to do is garner a reaction, when being yourself will garner the best ones each and every time that you're out. The last anti-seductive character that you may be being is the Vulgarian. And if you're a Vulgarian, you're probably not even really watching this channel, because the Vulgarian is the guy who just does not care. A vulgar type of person is a person who has no tact, he has no awareness of social situations, and he's just talking just to talk. I was out at a party probably about 6 or 7 months ago where this dude was just using all types of profanity. He was using, some street vernacular that's not going to be conducive or comfortable for everybody around him. And a lot of people were looking at this dude crazy. Like, they were like, man, what's this dude talking about? Like, man, we got other guests over here. It's not a good look. And so again, in that space, when it comes to your style, if you don't care about how you look and you're just throwing on whatever, then nobody's going to respect you. Nobody wants to be around that. There's an assumption, whether it's right or wrong, that you probably stink and that you're probably not somebody that is going to have anything intelligent to say. And so it limits your ability to get close to somebody and for you to infiltrate their thoughts and their engagement. So this is why it's so important for you to care about not only your style but your personal brand, because you're consistently putting those things out. So that's it. I want you to try these. Well, actually, don't try these things on. Make sure that you're not trying these things on, and leave me some comments in the comment box if you have already read The Art of Seduction and you feel like there may be some anti-seductive behaviors that I may have missed. If you haven't read it, then by all means go cop that book and leave me some comments in the comment box letting me know your thoughts about it. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you found the information beneficial, and don't forget that we are here every Monday through Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And above all, as I always say, don't ever forget that dress is nothing more than the expression of a man's state of mind, so you should always dress to express. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.